Was a high-profile, well-known case in North Tonawanda. I'm told this was the city's only unsolved murder case. Officials tell me there just wasn't enough evidence 25 years ago, and now with advanced technology, this case will finally go to trial.
Many cases often go old with time, but some are once again brought to light after decades. The story that I will share with you today will be of a similar kind. No one could ever imagine that such a case would be solved after being cold for almost 25 years. This case is about Mandy Steingasser. Mandy was a very outgoing and social person who loved spending time with her father outdoors. They would go on camping trips or just on road trips because she was a brave and adventurous girl who was not scared of anyone. One time, she even saw a ground squirrel and held it in her arms to cuddle him. She was later bitten by that squirrel. It was not unusual for Mandy, as she had a habit of petting snakes and other different animals she found along her camping trip. Her personality was very unpredictable, and she was often friends with dangerous people. Upon asking why she befriended such people, she would say that she does not judge her friends. In the fall of 1993, 17-year-old Mandy was a senior at North Tonawanda High School outside of Buffalo, New York. She was a brilliant student but did not yet have any plans for her career, so she got into Niagara County Community College after graduation. She was a very energetic girl who loved partying and experimenting with alcohol. Sometimes she loved it so much that she often forgot to go back home. To protect her, her parents set up some rules for her to follow each evening she went out to drink. There was a specific time for her to return home, and if she would not follow it, she would have to call and inform her parents or try to come home as soon as possible. On September 18, 1993, it was Saturday when Mandy was out with her friend Stacy, her boyfriend Brian, and Brian's friend Wayne. Stacy and Mandy had planned to sleep over at the Steingasser's house and were expected to return home by midnight. Stacy and Mandy were both 17, while Brian and Wayne were a few years older. Wayne had his apartment and they could easily buy liquor. That night, the group went to an alcohol store to buy whiskey and rum and later drove off in Wayne's car from North Tonawanda to Buffalo. They had planned to attend a rock concert in a bar, but the bouncer did not let the girls enter because of their age. Brian and Wayne decided to stay with them as both the girls were partially drunk. It was very unusual for Mandy to not call her parents to inform them about her whereabouts, even though she had missed her curfew time. A few moments had gone by when a car full of men pulled up near the group, yelling at Brian and Wayne that they had harassed one of their neighbors. Soon, a fight broke out, which did not last long. But this scared both Mandy and Stacy, and they started running away in different directions. It was not long until the police sirens were heard, and the men drove off. Brian and Wayne yelled at both the girls to come back, but Mandy was no longer seen. She had run away in fear that if the police found her, they would drive her back home, spoiling her plan to sneak into the house without letting her parents know that she had missed her curfew. Mandy started walking to her house, which was over a mile away. She walked north on Oliver Street until she reached a convenience store at the intersection of 5th Avenue. A car pulled up next to her and she leaned into the passenger seat before getting into the car. It was an acquaintance from her school who offered to drive her back home between 1:10 and 1:30 a.m. on September 19th. This was the last time Mandy was seen alive. At 2:30 a.m., Mandy's mother Lorraine got a phone call from Stacy asking whether she had returned home or not. This made Lorraine angry because she knew that her daughter had missed the curfew and did not come home. Her parents waited all night, but Mandy did not come. In the morning, they started calling all her friends. Mandy had a friend whose father was a policeman, so he came over to Steingasser's house. The investigation began and the police said that she might have run away, even though Mandy's parents did not believe it because they knew their daughter well enough. Many rumors spread that she might have gone south to Florida with her boyfriend, who had just moved there. On October 25, 1993, 5 weeks after the disappearance of Mandy, 2 men were hunting for mushrooms in the Bond Lane Park when they came across a set of badly decomposed human remains. The remains were sitting on the bank of Myers Lake, making it seem that someone had tried to push the body into the lake, but it got stuck in the bushes. Later, those remains were identified to be Mandy's. The forensic report revealed that she was strangled to death by her bra and had 2 brain hemorrhages and a skull fracture near her front temple. The police became suspicious of the schoolfellow with whom Mandy was last seen with. Even though the police publicly announced that they had a suspect, they did not reveal his identity because they did not have any evidence to prove him guilty.
Mandy Steingasser, at the age of 17, was last seen on September 19, 1993, around 1:30 a.m. at the corner of 5th Avenue and Oliver Street, here in the city of North Tonawanda. Her body was discovered on October 25th, 1993, at Bond Lake Park.
The lack of proper evidence made this case grow cold until 25 years later, when new technology was available to test the culprit's DNA with the one found on Mandy's body, when the truth finally came out.
Get enough evidence together, and the DA would not present it to the grand jury. I took it personally. When they killed Richard's daughter, it was like killing my daughter. I made him the promise that I would always give justice for his daughter.
On April 24, 2018, Joseph Belstad was arrested at his residence after he had returned home from work. It was his 43rd birthday, and he was charged with second-degree murder. Belstad stated that on September 19, 1993, he did give a lift to Mandy, but soon he dropped her off in front of a church and went to a donut shop before returning home. Witnesses revealed that they had seen Belstad picking up Mandy and never returning. His friends also said that Belstad had asked them to provide a false statement in his favor. Belstad denied all these allegations, but he was forced to take a lie detector test. The first time, he walked out of the room because he did not like the tone of the questioning. But the second time, his lies were confirmed and he was found to be a liar. Another witness came forward and said that Belstad had taken her to a remote place weeks before Mandy was murdered, which made his motives even more clear. On searching Belstad's car, investigators found 2 strands of pubic hair at the back seat of his vehicle, which they could not test in 1993. But after the latest technology in 2018, the hair was confirmed to be Mandy's. It was confirmed that Belstad had tried to sexually abuse her before getting angry at her and strangling her to death with her bra. On March 9, 2020, his trial finally began and the defense argued that he was being convicted without any proper evidence. But the jury came forward with many witnesses who told the court about Belstad's behavior after Mandy's disappearance. They said that he had stopped coming to school, to which Belstad said that he had a trip planned to Canada, which later got cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. All these statements were found to be lies, and he was found guilty of murdering Mandy Steingasser. On January 14th, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison, even after he tried everything to maintain his facade.
I'm really sorry for the pain and suffering y'all have gone through over all these years, but I am not the person who killed Mandy. I am.
This case was another addition to our cold case murder stories and was a pretty intense one. For more such cases, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell icon so you will never miss out on our daily updates.